Yeah.
And it's just, I get so hyped up.
You brought it up a couple of times, and I think it's a really valuable topic to allow you to dive into kind of the transition from Web 2 to Web 3. And I love the Web 2.5 mindset. So from a UX and a UI or a usability standpoint, for every user that comes on and uses the Serenity Shield and the StrongBox DApp, what does that Web 2.5, value proposition out to the world really look like from Serenity Shield's standpoint? Because we see a lot of projects, especially last year, we saw in 2021, we saw a ton of projects with like, app DApp trailers and metaverse trailers, and it's like, come join the new metaverse, and it's like, it's literally just a trailer. Like,
No,
so like,
hype.
yeah, and there's been hundreds of billions of dollars spent to build the infrastructure of Web 2 out. So it's like, why reinvent that wheel? Why not just inject in Web 3 value in a way that makes sense, where users are already used to their experience? So what does that look like for you guys? Like, what does Web 2.5 mean to Serenity Shield, and how are you guys facilitating kind of that transition where we can have mass adoption come into, utilize one solution, which is Serenity Shield's solution?
I think you nailed it with the idea of comfort and security, right? So you have comfort on Web 2.0 because you understand it, and then you get the security of the Web 3 technology to back it up. So it's really like rebuilding the back end, and which is the beauty of it, because the user doesn't have to get inundated with tech knowledge or understand even, I mean, where we're headed for Serenity Shield specific. We don't even want it to have to be a crypto wallet issue. We just want to say, you want to use a Visa, great. One click, you have a user account, sick. Do whatever you want with it. We're going to handle everything on chain in the background. That's where we're actually developing right now for our B2B solution. And then, like I said earlier on the call, we're going to pull that same stuff over to the B2C, because we want everybody to have the same experience. But the idea that, like, I mean, personally, I was kept out of crypto for 5 years because I thought I was too stupid to be here. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is all this shit? Like, oh my God, like paper wallets, even confused the shit out of me. Paper wallet, my wallet's made out of leather. What is this? You know what I'm saying? And like, you're going to get on Reddit and ask a question and someone's going to call you a moron. And like, yeah, that's a great intro to this space.
Yeah.
So, and even CZ had said it a few months ago, and I'm pretty sure Nikos put the tweet out on the Serenity official, but the biggest challenge to solve right now is the wallet. And, Serenity Shield isn't necessarily a wallet, but the idea that we'll have more success if we can build out the protocol to remove the need for a crypto wallet for people to actually come in and benefit from this stuff. And I even want to circle back on the token for a second, because earlier I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the same thing, because we always do come to the idea of like, what's the tokenomics? How can I make money with your crypto? Well, I think that there needs to be a separation between cryptocurrency and blockchain tech, and it has to happen right now. We can't come out of this crypto winter, like, and again, I just said it because it's so conditioned in my mind, but we can't come out of this bear market into a new space that's still obsessed with the speculative asset of the token. Yes, we have a token in our ecosystem, but it's to work with our products right now, like as a security token, as a key, right? I don't think that we're going to see the industry achieve what it actually can achieve until we get rid of the distraction of crypto, and then really start looking at blockchain and looking at ledger and looking at as a technology completely, looking at companies that are coming in to build in this current market as ones that are serious, that are going to be here long term, that aren't just looking for a quick buck on a launch spike and then they're gone, or making, baby Doge V2 after they rugged V1, and all the same people that got rugged go into the, it's wild. There's a place for casinos, and I don't think blockchain should be it, because and just, this is my own personal thing, and it is a little bit off topic, but
you're fine.
Okay, because people have vices, and if they turn to the blockchain space to scratch that itch of, I don't have to get in the car to go to the casino, I can just buy B&B and throw it at crap. That is cyclically violent. You know what I mean? Like, that's so bad for people. People will never get out of. People are doing that because there's a deeper rooted issue in terms of they want escape from maybe what their financial situation is in the real world. And I get that. I understand grinding. I understand not growing up rich. I get that. Where I think we did talk about this on one of the Genfinity calls, we are complicit in allowing these meme tokens to exist. We become complicit with people's gambling addiction. And it's a really bad thing to be enabling.
I mean, and the other thing with speculation and, pure token price speculation is it really does drive these boom and bust cycles within crypto. So it allows, I should say, it maybe doesn't allow this space to kind of bootstrap out at a higher level of legitimacy. Like over time, it just like it accelerates the move up, and then it crashes the move down, and it makes it longer and harder to get out of. And I mean, that's why we have, the cyclical nature of this space. But as Matt, and I really do think that a lot of the keys lay in kind of the Web 2.5 mindset, where yes, we do have a token, or we do have a coin, but it actually has utility within the ecosystem. Like it drives the engine of what we're actually doing, not necessarily from a speculation standpoint. And I think that you're going to see assets that are actually used in real world use cases coming out of this cycle, hopefully with a little bit of regulatory clarity, which will hopefully put us to the next level of this market. But we'll see how it goes, because as we know, like there's going to be things that nobody's even thinking of right now that people are going to start pushing on the mass populace in 2 years, that are like going to drive hype and speculation, unfortunately. And people are just going to be like, oh, this is like the new thing. And then it's going to be so hypey, and then everything's going to kind of crash back down again, unfortunately. Roadmap wise for you guys, because I was looking through the roadmap today. Can you give us a little bit of a heads up? I know you guys were going through penetration and partner testing within the DApp right now. What is the state of the DApp currently?
So it's still an MVP. Like you said, we're still doing penetration tests and everything. And really what we're going to end up doing is building out the B2B solution. Like I've said it a million times, so I'm sorry, I'm like a broken record on that. But so we took the B2C MVP that we got all the testing feedback for, and we're going to be putting the best features of what the B2C MVP was into the next iteration, which is going to be the B2B build out. We're talking in the background right now, like, Boris was going to be on the call with us, but he's actually tied up in discussions with pretty promising B2B partnerships that are going to bring a lot of users to the table for the StrongBox is all I can really say about that. But with that regard, that's why we're accelerating the B2B build out, which we're hoping, and I say hoping because it's just a big lift, but the whole goal internally is to have it end of Q1 2023 be B2B, functioning. So what we're doing over the next quarter, or have been doing since the beginning of this quarter, really it's going to end up being about 120 days straight, is just partnerships, phone calls, craziness. Like Boris and Nikos are on calls probably 3-4 times a day with people all over the planet. I jump in when I can, but again, 9 to 5, so it's tough. That's all we're trying to do right now, is build in a user base for the B2B solution so that we can get that actually cash flow and revenue going, that we can continue to reinvest in the business, which means building out a whole new B2C version on that Web 2.5 line that we've been talking about, and then bringing our utility to the everyday user in the retail space in blockchain. And, they can do with that. You can, like we've said, we're going to have up to 2 gigabytes of data storage for every single user that comes on it at like the entry level. So, I mean, 2 gigabytes is not anything to scoff at. I mean, that's a good amount of data to be able to store on chain. When I first got into this space, I didn't even know that it was possible. So, definitely a cool thing. But I guess too, like even back to the token, like being a product first company, we're so hell bent on getting this product ready before the token launches, because we don't want to see what so often happens when companies think they're 2 weeks away from utility and they launch the token to get that final maybe revenue injection to be able to pay developers or their team or whatever, and then it's not delivered in 2 weeks and it just tanks and everybody freaks out. It's a FUD storm, and then that technology that might have been great never sees the light of day because it just was not properly planned.
Yep.
And then again too is like the distraction of the token, like this freaking allure for the token, but it's that dopamine hit too. I mean, I get it. It's like people want to see it. People want to get in early. People want to watch that launch spike. People want to feel like they did something right by like making the right choice. And I mean, anyway, freaking token. But yeah, it's about the tech.
Yep.
But yeah.
And you guys you touched on the partnerships a little bit. So I wanted to get into like milestones, accomplishments, achievements thus far. And I was looking through kind of integration within, I'm going to mispronounce this again. Is it Uniris, right? Or Uniris?
Got it. Uniris.
Uniris. It's very clear that like, if you're looking through like what they're actually trying to facilitate with, and really this is kind of the meshing of biometrics, digital ID that we're going to all see anyways coming down the pike in the next couple of years here. It's nice to see you guys trying to front run it because I think it totally makes sense. So that to me, looking through what that partnership could represent, that's going to potentially be biometric authentication when you log into the DApp. Am I correct in assuming that? What's that going to look like as far as that relationship's concerned?
All right. So I have what my vision is, and then I don't know what actually will end up being, implemented over the next couple of years. But the idea with it is back to the removal of wallets. We really want users to come and not pretend. We want them to experience a Web 2 experience without having the fear of what the hell is blockchain, or can I understand this and whatever. And with that comes Uniris, where it's just another like fingerprint authentication. So now you don't need a seed phrase. Let all that be handled in the background. It's a more secure version of 2FA. And that's really what we want is for somebody to come here and not ever have to worry about a wallet, and then be able to protect all their assets for whatever they want, which, I mean, from the other day's conversation includes like in-game assets, music, movies, digital books, whatever you want, your mortgage, your house, whatever your legacy is going to be that you want to leave to people in the form of a will. It's between you and your relationship with chain and the decisions that you make, and no third party. So that's really where the Uniris just adds that added level of security and also ease of use is really what I envision. I mean, I'd love to see, and don't hold me to this, asterisk disclaimer, because who knows, but my vision of what this would be. Nikos and I can both download an app. He can get it on Android and I can get it on Apple, right? He lives in Scotland, I'm in the US. He decides, Justin's pretty cool. I want to leave him a little Bitcoin in case I go. And so what he does is he sets up a StrongBox, sets me as the nominee, and then tells me to download the DApp. And when I download the DApp, there's a push notification that says so-and-so wants to assign you as nominee. And I say yes, and I sign that transaction with my fingerprint.
Yeah.
And I've never had to create a wallet. I don't even have to have anything on there except for the fact that my fingerprint through the app said, yep, I'm cool with that. Hit me up later when Nikos goes. Hopefully that's no time soon. But just as the example, so like, I mean, then when you really think about it that way, you can connect continents of families. When I first got into the game, I was really interested in Stellar, because they were talking about like, let's get the unbanked banked. Let's get rid of all these wire fees over international lines that are impeding people's ability to move somewhere else, make money for their family, and send it back. Like, you shouldn't be penalized for that. You shouldn't be taxed for that. So really what got me into thinking about that with where Serenity Shield could go is we're just playing into that vein too, where it's like digital rights for everyone. Do you have a finger? Can you hold it? You know what I mean? Like everybody, barring massive misfortune throughout your life, we're all born with fingers. So like, let's say like at least one finger, and you can be a part of a financial legacy that you may never have had access to because you live somewhere where there are restrictions, or, I mean, we could go on all day about what.
I mean, I think that's where, I mean, looking at like even like zero knowledge proofs and all of those aspects, as far as the minimum viable mechanism to prove that I'm me, or the minimum viable mechanism to prove that you're you, without having to deal with all the logistics and the educational barriers of really trying to participate in Web3, I think is going to, it's going to have to be one of the things that drives forward towards mass adoption, because most people, that have bank accounts that hear about crypto, are very used to the traditional system of not custodying their own assets. And I do think that it's going to pivot in towards custodying your own assets, and it has to be really seamless, has to be secure, and it has to be trusted and backed up by the blockchain or by the, you know, these distributed ledgers. And I wanted to get a little bit into the transferring pay. So when we think about digital assets and what, because I know we touched on it at the very beginning, but we talk, you know, most people think crypto, right? But, you know, there's obviously, we hear NFTs now a lot as well. I saw a tweet that you guys put out a week or so ago about, you know, digital documents as well. So what does that represent? Just maybe explain that just a little bit more, because digital assets and tokenization, the way that this is all going, you could, you know, secure your will or secure your birth certificate or your whatever you want to do within the StrongBox at some point in time, correct?
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, the idea would be you save whatever you want, and the NFT key that's created when you create that StrongBox is just the gatekeeper to it. So it's, yeah, it's like digital documents of anything. Like, you got a song you like, that, so you wrote a song, cool, go store it. You got a movie you shot with your friends, go store it. You know, you got a will that you want to leave for your family when you're gone, you don't trust a lawyer, go store it. You want to sell your house, put your mortgage in a StrongBox and then sell your house. That's what I want to do. Oh God, I honestly have no, like, as in, just disclaimer, no financial advice. We're not here about like tax evasion. There's nothing here about that, and I'll never promote that. Like, if you sell something of significant value that was once in a StrongBox, I implore you to talk to an attorney and a tax accountant and pay your damn taxes.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta do it right. But what we're here to do is allow people the chance to do whatever they want. And I think it's something that's crazy. When you're younger, you do whatever the hell you want because you don't have that own voice in your head that's like, society's gonna think I'm weird if I do this right now, you know? And like, I always used to think about life when I was little as like a video game, when you would get to the end of the map and you just couldn't go further because you forced yourself maybe not to go further, but you can just step over that threshold in real life and go. I think that we are so conditioned to believe that these constraints that are built around us slowly, you know, you're like that frog in the pot of boiling water. If you're there before it gets hot, you stay there till you die. We need to get shocked out of this boiling pot of water. We need to realize that we can just step beyond the threshold and literally do whatever the hell we want. And I think Web3 brings with that. That's the best thing about Web3 from my mind, is that if we build this right, and I'm not talking about Serenity Shield, I'm talking about if the industry builds itself up correctly, we're going to give people the ability to just step into the unknown. And it might be scary, but it's your choice to do it. And that's something that we lack.
Yeah. And we better have decentralized solutions providing it, because if not, in a few years, we're going to have the powers that be putting these solutions on top of us anyways. I mean, we're all leading towards the biometric aspects, the digital ID aspects, the digital wallets. I mean, CBDCs are coming. So if we don't have solutions being built out like what you guys are facilitating right now, there's going to be solutions coming from the old guard that, for me, I would rather maybe stay a little bit away from. Can you talk a bit about the interoperability aspects? Like, what is Serenity Shield's envisionment for, maybe touch base on what chains you guys can facilitate interoperability with right now that you guys are building with, and then touch base on kind of where you see it going in the future, because obviously that will deal in which assets you might be able to custody within your StrongBox and things like that. How do you kind of see that going? Where are you at right now? Where do you see that going as far as, you know, which chains or ledgers you guys are going to be dealing on? So,
crazy bit of news, but we just successfully worked in BSC. So, I mean, really, when we launched, I want to go back a bit to the Solana thing too. We wanted the token to be on Solana initially because of the speed and the low price. We wanted, again, back to our ethos of like digital rights for everybody. We wanted the lowest barrier of entry possible, and we believed at the time that Solana would bring that. I still think from a tech standpoint it will. Sucks to see what's going on with the chain right now with the value of it, but kind of ties back to what we've been talking about this whole time too. Cryptocurrency does not equal blockchain technology, you know, but it's too conflated right now. So that's why Solana is kind of hurting. But right from the get-go, we knew that we needed to be interoperable because, again, the other till I'm blue in the face, I'm always saying self-sovereignty. We don't want to push anybody into any certain asset to have to use their product. We literally want to be able to have it, like you said, like any class of assets from any chain be covered by StrongBox use. So yeah, we have Solana right now. We're pushing out BSC and just going to keep going. I mean, we want to work with all layer ones. That really is our goal. And I know it's going to be probably 5-6 year push, but as we develop our products, we're going to keep moving the needle. I mean, we know what our end game goal is, and not going to stop working toward it, because anything less than that, I think, would be a failure on our part, and definitely a failure of the industry. We don't want to be here saying we're going to do something and not deliver. We're going to make it happen. But yeah.
And I think we hear a lot from, I mean, if you look at like, and I'm not saying that interoperability isn't great from like an NFT standpoint, but it's like, how much demand is there for my picture of a, my NFT of a frog to bridge cross chain or cross ledger into multiple ecosystems? Like, okay, but like if you're talking about like digital sovereignty, like it's a whole space issue. So it does make sense to interoperate with and be able to utilize assets from as many different chains or ledgers within a digital sovereignty solution as possible, because everybody in every ecosystem in this entire space needs to have that as an option. I mean, it's a very, very important issue. Like, so basically what I'm saying is it's not interoperability for the sake of interoperability, because we see a lot of talk about that in this space. We're bridging to this chain, or we're doing this here. And it's like, yeah, but why? But when I look at your guys' value proposition to the space, like I see totally the need for interoperability and over time, eking out into as many chains and ecosystems as possible, because it's a problem that needs solved across all these ecosystems as far as digital sovereignty is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, if you're about people and your project and your company is about people, you got to go where people are, and people are everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the whole deal. We need to be available to people everywhere, and we know that's the lift, but that's what we're about.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting this interview out there. I will say, if you're interested in Serenity Shield, go to serenityshield.io, go to @serenityshield_ on Twitter. Do you have anywhere else you'd like to drive people towards, a Discord, anything else that you guys are kind of managing for community and engagement?
Yeah, we do. We have a Discord too. It's a bit quieter than the rest, but I mean, kind of everything in this market's quiet. So yeah, no, that's cool. We are going to be hosting those spaces too, the Serenity spaces, more like after the holidays, when things kind of calm down for everybody and we can recalibrate in the new year and we have some new news to share. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting you guys on as many spaces as possible. We're taking a break through the end of December, but we really want to start planning these things out in advance. I know that it was pretty awesome to have the one we just did yesterday or the day before. We had Gala on there and a bunch of other people, and you guys were up there as a co-host, which was awesome. And then 2 weeks prior to that, we literally had Constellation and DAG on there. We had Casper, we had Alliance Block, we had Sunny Lou, CEO of VeChain. I mean, that was a pretty ridiculous space. So we want to put more together like that and really get eyes from multiple ecosystems on, what solutions you guys are providing and what solutions everybody else is providing in this space as well. I do have to say, Justin, thank you so much. I know how busy everybody from the Serenity Shield team is. And go if you want to learn more about Serenity Shield and StrongBox and their tech that they're building out, go to the site, go to the Twitter, join the Discord, and start asking questions. And thank you so much for your time today, Justin. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate being given the floor. I mean, this is something I was looking forward to for a long time. As we talked about at the top, that it's been tough to get the schedules together. But yeah, I really appreciate the platform you provide for everybody, and that you're a very welcoming dude, right? So it's like it's very easy to talk to you about these aspects that are sometimes super lofty and bring it down to a level that it's just normal humans discussing something that impacts our lives and others people's lives. And thank you.
Yep, I'm sure we'll be doing another one of these in the very beginning of 2023 again as well. Certainly interested in hearing more about you guys building out the B2B aspects with the B2B rollout. I think that's super important as well. And I love the fact that you guys are kind of just saying, hey, you know, whether you're a business, whether you're a consumer, whether you're dealing with business to business or business to consumer, you can come on to the StrongBox application, decentralized application. And I think it is all about user choices. It's about, you know, consumer choices in this space as well. It's about ease of use, which is going to drive towards mass adoption and consumer choices. So love what you guys are doing, and looking forward to seeing what you guys are doing in the near future. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.